All right, so I know you guys are working on test cases, right? That's what we discussed last Sunday. So any team that wants to proceed with their test case, you guys can share it.
We can do it. Is Kobe here though?
Kobe, I don't see Kobe yet.
And Namita, she's not here too.
Namita, she just joined. Namita, she just joined.
Okay, so let's just wait for Kobe if he can
Okay.
join, and then we can represent our show our the work.
Okay. So let's see if anybody else wants to go here.
Harshil, can we start?
Yes, go ahead. I see Nilima joining. Okay. Dhanasri, so you guys have reviewed, right, as a team,
Yes.
this test case? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes, we are working every day on that. So,
Okay, great.
but we still have a confusion on the A01 to A04 event. So we just want clarify from you.
Sure.
Because when we are writing the test cases for A01 and E01,
Mhm.
they are coming completely same. So we just want to
E01,
ask you,
So
like,
remember, E01 is the field. A01
Yeah.
is the action when you click on it,
yes.
right? So if you go back to the screen, right? Keep going up, right? So if you look at the E01 is the actual field, right? Where you have a vendor customer right next to it. A01 is when you hit the three dots, the text box on the right side gets populated, right? So the action that you need to validate it is when somebody clicks on that three dots, does it populate the right-hand side table? And then if somebody selects, let's say if I select a customer 3 into that right-hand side, does that information then gets populated into the E01 field?
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's a two-step process, right?
Okay.
The three dots, first validation is, do I get a list? And is the list correct? And the second step is if I select something from that list, does it get populated into the text box right next to vendor/customer?
Okay. So the E01 also doing the same thing, right? When I'm clicking on that, these three.
No, remember E01 is element, right? So think about it like it's when you did the UFT. Remember, you had to put all the IDs. When you're doing a checkpoint, it was putting the dollar and then whatever the field unique identifier was. Think of that way, same thing. E01 is identifying an ID on the screen that you can use it. The actual action is A01. Now the E01, the field itself, has some validation criteria. Like in this case, it is a required field because it puts a true.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't just click on the process another without having that field populated. So one of the test cases you can do it is click on process another when your vendor/customer field is empty. That's a test, right? Does it do that validation that it is a required field or not?
Okay. Because why we get confused, like, okay, if we go to E01 field, when we are clicking on that, this three dot, then the list come up and then we are selecting customer or vendor from that list and then it pop-ups to this field.
Right.
Right, that's the E01. And if we go to the A01, again.
No. So there are two things. Remember, E01, it's just an identifier. Your test case should not tie to A01 or A02 or A01, A02. All that tells you is those are the actions. Can you validate the action? The three dots is first action. Can you validate that? Okay. The second action is when somebody clicks on, let's say customer 3, as I said, does it populate the field E01?
Okay.
Okay.
So
don't think that you are writing the test case to test E01 or A01. No, you're writing the test case to test and validate the functionality. And that functionality may be tied to one or more actions or one or more fields.
okay.
So here we combine the E01 and A01 and validate the A01 value, whether it is true or false. In one test case.
No,
both of them
two different
together.
test cases. To me, that's two different test cases. The first one is when I click on 3 dots, does it populate the list correctly on the right-hand side?
So Dilip, tell me one thing, like, see, if I just write the scenario for E01, so it's like select the vendor from these 3 dot buttons or select customer or default has to be blank, right? So is this the right scenario for E01?
Now, when you say scenario,
Or the test cases?
again, remember, like I'm a little struggling when you write it into the bulleted list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling to figure it out. What are your leaves? Tell me what is your leaf. Remember when we talk about the tree, different scenarios and leaf becomes your test case? Tell me what is your leaf out of those 3?
Like
The
if
first
we
2. Select the vendor and select the customer.
Those 2 are leaves?
Yeah.
Okay. So why those 2 are 2 different things? I'm performing exact same actions to select a vendor or to select a customer.
We were trying to see if we can select vendor and also it allows to select the customer as well.
Yeah, but when I look into the redundancy, right? Remember the test case criteria? I do not see much value by writing those 2 separate.
Yeah.
I understand, like it's right, you're pulling it up, but to me, those are the 2 test cases, not the selecting vendor or selecting the customer. The 2 test cases would be when I click the 3 dot, can I get the list of all valid vendors and customers? That's one test case. The second test case is if I select from the list on the right-hand side, whatever I select, does that get populated into the E01? To me, those 2 are the leaves. Those 2 are uniquely, I can validate and test it. And if one functionality fails, then I can say the screen is not working as expected.
So Dilip, what we thought, you said that will be the A01, that's an action. Right, when you are clicking on that,
I think I got it.
Okay.
So when we click the 3 dots, the list will be populated.
Yeah.
That 01. And if we select one of the vendor or customer from the populated list, is it showing in the vendor customer field? That is A01.
Yeah.
Think
about your failure scenarios, right? If I select that 3 dots and only vendors gets displayed, then it's fail, right? Because it didn't display the combination of all the vendors and customers. Or if only customers displays, then potentially the failure, or only when some vendor and some customer shows up. Right. So my validation, I still have to validate it and says, I need to know who all are my vendors. So that does all of those show up? And I need to know who all are my customer and does all those customers show up?
Okay.
Are you guys getting it? Why I'm saying is that like I would prefer the breakdown as 3 dots and a selection instead of selecting a vendor and selecting a customer.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah. And Dilip, will you explain like one of these, like any button? Because
okay, so let's talk about the process another button. What did you understand the functionality when somebody clicks on the process another?
The new page will come, means we must have to be a required field to be filled. And when I'm
no, so go to your requirements document and let's look at it when process another. What is the action it is expecting?
So if the same customer or vendor different packages, once we are done with one process, we can go ahead and click the process another button for the same customer vendor processing another order.
Is it for the same customer vendor?
Yes, it is.
Let's scroll it down, actions. So remember, it sets the user up to receive another shipment. It doesn't say it's for the same customer or same vendor.
So I think Dilip, I clarified for them last time on the Sunday
Okay.
that basically it is for the same customer.
Okay.
So I think that's the reason. Yep.
All right. So let's go to the screen now that you understand what should do it, right? It saves the current data and sets you up for the next shipment, right? So in this case scenario, let's say I got 2 shipments from the same customer. I populated for the first shipment, right? Because I'm going to have the purchase order number or shipping tracking number. I'm going to add it. I'm going to identify what type of package that one is. Is it a box that I received it, or just a case of cartridges, or just a single cartridge, right? Which is SKD. And then I will identify how many quantities. And when I click on process another, what the behavior is expected, that it will mark that shipment as officially received it and put it ready for the next step for that shipment. It will clear up the PO field, shipping field, quantity field, right? It should keep your vendor/customer field as is, so that you can put the other sets of information and process it, right? So when I click process another, I'm expecting 2 sets of action to happen. The first sets of action is takes the existing data and marks it so that it's ready to be processed in the inventory, right? Because it's receiving, and then the next step is inventory. So that's the first action that it should happen. The second action should happen is it should still say on the same page, but it clear it out the PO, shipping and tracking and quantity fields.
So Dhanasri, let me ask you this. Did you guys write the test case on this one, or you guys are still on this one? Because we talked about all these things on Sunday, right?
Yeah, we did write the test cases.
Okay, so let's talk about the test cases, because in order for the, unless you are not clear on certain things.
I think we wrote for different ones, not this one.
Okay. Okay.
So let's walk through the one that you wrote for which one. Tell me the scenario. Let's walk through the steps.
So this is for E01.
Okay, you're selecting a vendor from a lookup field. Okay.
Yeah.
So why do you have to select an admin module?
To enter the user ID and password.
Does it?
Yeah, if we go to the admin page, there is a box where we can put the user ID and password, because on the home page, there is nothing.
Okay.
If we go here.
Herschel, can you clarify the admin page functionality
Yeah,
for me? I'm trying to recall it off the top of it.
Right. So Dhanasri, so there'll be a login page regardless. I mean, on the home page, even before the home page, the user will be prompted for login. I don't think you have it anywhere here.
Yeah, we see that here. That's why we added.
Okay, it's maybe it's for some other purpose, but you will have a login page, just like Arflon. You have a home page, and then you have something at the top. Here in this application, they have to log in order to see the home page. That's how it will work.
Okay.
Yeah, in order to access any functionality.
If we put the URL, it will just open this page, and then we have to go and log in. No,
it's the other way around. So if you put the URL in, right, so it will prompt you to log in first, and then you will end up on the home page.
Oh, so this one is a different thing.
Right.
Okay, Dhanasri, this one is to create a user. It's not to log in the user.
Right.
So the 6.23 is essentially look at that. It allows you to manage the demographic information related to specific user. It's not the login security.
Okay. Okay.
So as Harshal said, there will be a login page, and that's what my understanding, but I wanted to get the clarification. So typically your first step is fine, and it's not going to display the home page, it's going to display the login page, right? And at that login page, you enter the user ID and a password, and it will display the home page, right? From there, you're going to get into the receiving module, which is your step 3. Okay. So then you tell me what you're doing. Lookup button.
Then we are
Okay.
clicking.
What is your preconditions? Tell me what is your precondition? What should be true in the system?
The vendor one already existed in the system. Like if we are checking for the vendor one,
okay,
that precondition is vendor one already existed in the system.
Is it only the existence, or along with the existence, certain other conditions should be true too? Like
What
he
we
should be an
thought, like,
active vendor, something like that.
What we understand, like someone already added the user in the system. And
no, I understand, right? But when you look into the vendor detail, which is F10, right?
Yeah, they should be active.
Yeah, active as well.
Right. So it's not just sufficient that the vendor exists in the system,
okay,
but there is a couple of other condition has to be met. Right. So you need to make sure, because you need to understand what point they will be displayed into the right-hand side on the list. Okay. So make sure you put that in the precondition. So when you click on that,
you can update it later on, Dhanush.
yeah. Can you
Yeah.
just repeat it again one more time? Like what will be the
no, the
precondition?
first one was right. You need an additional condition.
Okay.
Okay. It not only it should exist in the system, but it should be active vendor also.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the condition. Now, when you do that, so when you say, I'm going to click on the vendor/customer lookup field, look at your expected result, right? Expected result, it's so much generic. All it just says that it's going to display the list of customer and vendors. It doesn't say that it's going to display the vendor one.
Okay, we thought like the list will show and we will select the vendor one from that list.
Again, you have to be very precise on the expected result.
Okay.
Should display the active vendors and customers.
And aren't you expecting that vendor one also to be displayed in that list?
Yes.
So then you should call it out, right? Because those two are two different things. If I just display the active list of customer and vendors, how do I know vendor one should be in there or not? I should call it out specific that they should be in there.
Okay. It should display vendor one in the customer vendor list.
Precisely. So the way I would do it is like it's vendor one is displayed along with the other active vendor and customer on the right side list. That's what I would be expecting, right?
Okay.
Then when you select it, vendor one displayed in the field box. This is where you have to be clear. It should be displayed in the field box, which is labeled as vendor/customer, right? So that's the flow. So based on what you wrote it down, selecting the vendor, it is accurate, more or less kind of in logically, like it steps and the expected results.
Yep. Okay. And
now, how do you, can you make it this a repeatable?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Do you feel your test case is repeatable?
Yeah, here, this one, 4th and 5th.
No, when I say repeatable is, if I run it the same test case over and over again, will I get the expected same results?
But we have to change the customer or vendor, right?
No. my question is, if I run the exact same test case 10 times, will I get the exact same results? The answer is yes, because this is not a destructive test. That means I'm not changing any data. I'm just pulling the data. So as long as my precondition is always true, I will be able to always run this test case without making any changes to it.
Okay.
Right? Now it's a different scenario if you do a process another button testing, then you can't do that.
Do you have a test case written for process another, Dhanasri?
I didn't. Nilima, do you have it? Nilima or Shruti?
Oh, we wrote the default values one and EO1, AO1,
Okay.
not for the process another.
Okay. All right. Then hold off on that, Dilip. I think let them write the business process one, functionality one.
Yeah. Do you have any other modules where you have written a business functionality test?
A01. But we feel it's repetitive, maybe.
Yeah, this is not the business one, right? So when we say the business, it's not populating the field. It's doing either the process, another one, or a done type of thing.
Okay. So
we did not do for the business ones actually.
Okay.
We did this for A01, the action one.
So now after Dilip explained, like we got the clarification between difference between E01 and A01. So
yeah,
we need
can
to work on the A01 again.
Yep.
Okay.
So one last question we have for the requirement is like the vendor and customer lookup button. When we click the 3 dot buttons, so we see the design of the screen in the receiving page requirements. So the right side, vendor 1, customer 12, customer 3, and vendor 111, is that the list of list when we click the 3 dot button?
Now, Nilima, you have to understand this is a mock-up screen, right? So this one, somebody drew it up on the board and took a snapshot and put that in just to communicate with the user, with the business user. Hey, this is how the screen will look like, and so forth. It's not the actual data.
Yeah, it's not the
So-
actual data, but is the list going to display on the right-hand side here, or are these separate buttons?
Yes, as separate buttons. Yes, that's how it will be populated. So every customer or vendor will have its own button. So when you select, click on vendor 1, system will update the vendor customer with the vendor 1.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So Harshal, will the same list show, like when I'm clicking on 3 dots, this exact same list will show here on the right side?
Now,
Again, this is
that
mocked up
active user?
list, right? So based on whatever you have it in the system, which are active customer and active vendors, is the one which is going to be shown.
So Dhanasri, this is not the exact list gonna display, but here it's gonna display here.
Right.
Yeah, we got it. I think we are clear now.
Yeah.
All right.
And, one more.
I do have a process, another one if
What?
if you want. I wrote
Did
the
you,
process, another one.
is this Anita?
No, Shruti.
Shruti, did you guys review
Yeah.
as a team? I want to make sure you guys review as a team and flush that out before you
Okay.
present to us. Okay. So
Okay.
if you haven't had a chance to review it, make sure you guys all three to get together and
Okay.
review first.
Yeah,
And
we
then-
are
then-
actually
yeah.
on a Zoom meeting every single day, all three of
Right,
us.
right.
Maybe she joined little late today.
Okay. So I mean, she said she wrote it. So I like her to review with you guys first, and then we
Okay.
can review it on Sunday. Okay.
Okay.
Harshal, we have one more question, like on E04 package thing. When we are testing for one box, like if one button, if I'm checking for skid, so only the skid will be selected, or can I select case and box too? Like we were confused.
See, I think the requirement says you can select only one. I'm not sure whether you guys looked at the requirement closely, but it's there in the requirement. That it was received in a box, but if you click on the events or something, I think it says somewhere down there.
It is like it's if you
Yeah.
read it, right? No, go back to E04.01.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the bottom line. It says this button changes color when it is selected and will stay selected until a different package type button is selected. So as soon as you select another package type button, this becomes unselected.
Right.
And by default, all three buttons are unselected. So did you guys understand the purpose of that skid versus case versus box?
Yeah, maybe we misreading that
Right.
this button.
Think about it, right? When you get the package back from a vendor or a customer about the cartridges, right? Either you're going to get it individual cartridges, which is skid, or you're going to get a box of cartridges, which is a box, or you get a case, which is defined, right? So when you're ordering something and get it, right? There's always either you can order a 1 or a set of 6, or a box, which is 3 sets of 6, something like that, right? Depending on the vendor, you will have different packaging criteria. But either all this indicates is that, hey, did I get a package which was individually wrapped, or did I get a case, or did I get a box? And how many quantities of each?
Yeah, got it.
All right. Okay. So let's move on to another team now. See if we can review theirs. So whichever team? Yeah, go ahead, Deepal. Yep.
Yes, let me share my screen.
And Deepal, you guys reviewed the test cases, right? What you guys as a team?
So what we do, let me just explain it to you. We have done the warranty information F04.
Okay.
We discussed all scenarios.
Okay.
We wrote down positive and negative cases, like scenarios, as many as possible and as much as possible in detail. That those all details are in brief, and we all wrote down test cases. And that one we didn't discuss it, but the other part we discussed it 3 times. And we have so many questions about the requirements because so many things are not cleared in the document. So we wrote down those questions and thought clarification too.
Okay, so let me ask you straight then. Did you guys, what are test cases that you wrote down? Did you guys review as a team, or you have not?
We didn't do it as a team, but we did review. We read each other's test cases.
Okay, and you provided the feedback as necessary, and
yes, a few things we did talk about it. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, let me just share my screen.
So whose test case you are we are reviewing right now?
So right now I am sharing this document. That one we wrote down as a team.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Yes. Are you able to see it?
Yes, it's there.
With the screen one, right?
Yep.
Yes, because yes. So here is the screen, the one we need to focus on. So all the orange fields are our questions. So first of all, let me just zoom in for people can see it. So first thing we need clarification about process as a core, parts recovery, and ready to ship button. There is a information in description set to a cartridge status indicator set to ready to ship, or process as a core, and parts recovery. We couldn't find this indicator information in the document.
Okay, so I think I explained you on Sunday. I think we discussed this as a team. What is parts recovery?
Yes,
What is
we
process as
we
code?
understood that
Right.
whole process.
Okay.
But our questions are how to verify that, because if we can create any part process as a core, then we need to go back somewhere and see that it is showing that this is a process as a core.
Right, it wouldn't be there. I don't think anywhere in the document you will find anything other than on this particular screen where they will say mark it as a process as a core. The only way you can verify it right now, since it's not clarified in the document, right? So you have to run the query and make sure that particular information or record or warranty record is marked as process as a core. Or they can build a report, which is a kind of like a future thing, but they can run a report from the system and they can see it what's marked process as a core and take it out basically afterwards.
So
one another way that you can just see it is from it will disappear from your list of things to be processed.
Right.
Yes, you are right.
I have a question here.
Sure.
Harshal, you said, run it as a query. So
Yeah.
in which part of the test should we do that? Like, we are selecting that process as a core, and then we should write like run the query, or?
Yeah, verifying the verification step, right? You verify that it is marked as a process as a core in the database. Just it's a verification step you can write in this case. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yes, so it is the exactly similar thing for parts recovery also.
That is correct. Yep, that is correct.
Okay. And one more clarification about this defect category and subcategory. So I could find out from the later documents in the later of the big documents. This category is the parent, or this defects are the parents?
So defect category and subcategory, right? So there is a whole other module for defect category list module, I believe. That's the module where you can set up who is a parent and who is a child. So typically parent is a defect category is a parent and subcategories are child.
Okay.
On that particular screen.
Yes,
right?
that's what our confusion, because when
Sure.
we write down the cases, then we can create those things and we can reflect this here, so we can verify the whole thing.
Okay.
So that is a one clarification.
Okay.
And
So,
one more thing. Yes, go ahead.
Harshal, you mean to say child means the defect lists?
No, subcategories. Child is a subcategory.
Sushri, child is this defect 1, defect 2, and defect 1.
That's correct. Yeah.
So those are the defects lists, right?
Yes.
Is the first screen means F04.
Can you go to the screen here,
Yes.
Deepal?
Yes, Deepal, can you go there?
So which screen?
The first one, the warranty, what we are doing. That screen where defect 1, defect 2, in the defect list in the right hand side, remember?
Yeah, so you cannot able to see it?
No.
Oh, because I can see it because I put that screenshot on my document.
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop sharing and share that again.
Sure.
Can you guys see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wrote down everything.
Here you see that, right? Untested Hooper and drum problems. Those are the categories. Okay.
Yes.
And defect 1, defect 2, and another defect 1 is a subcategory. That list.
Yeah, that's what I was telling. There's the defect list here in this page.
Right.
So defect list is a child and categories are parent. Okay. Yes.
I mean, think it this way, untested, right? So it says Hooper problem. Within that,
Yes.
if you have any other problems associated with that, those are the actual defects. Basically, what defects are associated with this Hooper problem? Think it that way. Yeah. So the first list, that is the actual category, and the second list is subcategory.
Okay.
Now again, don't look at the data, right? Because these are just a mock-up screens. So it could be anything.
Yes, you
Okay.
are absolutely correct. But in order to verify those things,
Right.
like a currently selected problems and defect list and category list,
Right.
we need to create something so we can verify that.
Sure,
That's what
sure.
this category list document come in the picture.
Yep. Okay.
So these are our scenarios. So for so can I go through all of them, or just like should I just ask you a question on that one?
Yeah, only if you have a question, because we already discussed, right? Most of all the scenarios last time. So I'm hoping you guys nailed it down. But if you have a question or if you need our feedback, then we can take a look at specific scenarios.
Okay. Team, do you guys have any question in your mind? Let me just go through quickly here.
Okay.
Yes, I do have a question on the first one, very first one, warranty ID lookup field.
Okay.
So there is a one way we can, the scenario number 2, a warranty ID number can be searched through the warranty ID number lookup field. The lookup field is not there yet. But how can we test this? One is the positive, which supposed to be 10 characters alphanumeric. One is a blank if there is no data in that. But how can we verify this one? We came up with all these things.
Okay, warranty ID can be searched through warranty ID numbers. What do you
Number,
mean by that?
not number. That was my typographical mistake. Recently, I was changing the thing. So lookup field, warranty ID lookup field.
Right.
Because,
so I mean, you are not entering anything over there, right? It's a read-only field. So why do you have these scenarios here? 10 characters alphanumeric versus any number.
Yes, that's what I put it up here because it is related to that. So we wrote down here to ask you a question. Because there is a one way, the positive is 10 10 characters alphanumeric, which is a positive way. One is a blank. There is no warranty numbers in that lookup field.
Okay, so Deepal, I'll like it's kind of ask you one question and hopefully that clarifies it, right? Are you going to do anything differently to test those 3 different scenarios that you have listed out? Because remember, system is generating ID and all you're validating it is the ID generated or not? If it's blank, did it generate? No, right? It failed.
Yes, that's what, like, there are only 2 ways, right?
There's only one way. A system is generating, you are not entering anything manually.
So just only the
either
positive?
Either we can select or not.
That's correct. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And when you can't select it, isn't that the negative side of the you can select? Right. So if you fail on selecting it, by default, you couldn't select it.
That's the negative,
yes. That's what I was thinking because we wrote down.
This is just the same like selecting means in the first page what Dilip was saying. This is the same kind of selection what we are doing here in warranty ID.
Okay.
Similar to the customer vendor list. Okay.
Yeah, customer vendor one, the same lookup field.
Right.
Yes. Thank you. Because we figured out this is 10 number, but in the document page number 22, warranty ID generated with the less characters and no alphanumeric. It was only numeric.
Again, it's
I'm not sure why.
Right? You don't need anything else.
Right. And it's already generated for you. I mean, you are not typing anything here. So I'm not sure why do you even have this scenario here with the alphanumeric values or anything. You just need to select it. And if you are able to select it, yep, you are good. If not, you have to fail it. Yep.
Yes. That was I didn't do the correction on that part.
Sure.
That was a rough thing.
Okay.
Yes. So can we show our test cases?
Yeah, I think so. If you don't have any question, let's move on to the test case.
Okay, let me share that page.
Let's review the one where you have a business function,
right?
Rather than a screen validation,
right?
Yes. So for the business function, I guess here the first one is this warranty ID lookup, and I guess all the 3 buttons, because this is not a big screen there, ready to ship, process as a core, and let me show you.
So do you have a ready to ship test case?
Yeah, test case, Deepal. If you can pull up that particular one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me stop share and share that one particular. Are you guys able to see it?
Yep.
Yeah. Sushri, you can talk about this.
Let me just pull the latest one after the discussion what we had on Sunday. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
So Deepal, you probably want to stop sharing, maybe.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Deepal, now you can share the screen, because if I'll do, then I have to go to some other laptop.
Oh, laptop. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sure.
I have put the updated one. Just share that.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Sushri. I think she has it.
Yeah, I'll just open the document.
So I see the precondition. You have URL of laser server exist. I mean, you don't have to put that in precondition. Without that, you can't do anything, right? It's not really a precondition. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so first I'm giving the test title as validate functionality of ready to ship button.
Okay.
Then, so as you are saying, we will not give the URL of ledger server exists. And also user or admin exists also, that is not required.
Okay.
So I am giving the precondition as warranty ID, AWZ 1234567 exist in the system. Is that okay?
So think of this way. If I run this test case once, it passes successfully, and I want to do regression testing to rerun it again. Is your precondition going to prevent me from redoing it?
My functionality is ready to ship. If one time it is shipped, then second time, same condition, it will do the same ready to ship only.
It's already shipped, right? So that warranty ID won't exist anymore.
No, yes, Dilip, you are right, because this in this document, I guess once you use this warranty ID, you cannot use it again. You need to create a new one and then use it.
Yeah, so if I'm trying to write a repeatable test case, shouldn't I write it such a way that I generate the warranty ID with that item so that it's guaranteed every time I run it, it'll generate new ID and I will still be able to run through it.
Right, so it will not be in our precondition then.
Right, so remember, like it's how you did when a lender approved or rejected a credit application. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Scenario? And what you had to do? So think about around the same line here, because anytime you touch anything which is a destructive testing, you should think about it, how I'm going to run this test case over and over again without getting a different results every time. Because what is a sign of a good test case? It's a predictable and it's repeatable.
Repeatable. Yeah, so I'm a little bit like, I think I forgot. So what we have to do here then for the repeatable condition?
So if you remove it from the precondition here,
yeah,
what
do
do you think? What do you think will happen for your steps?
Then
what
we
is
have
the impact?
to, then we need to create.
Right. So you need to include those in the steps afterwards for creating the warranty ID, new warranty ID, those steps.
Okay, so all
through the cartridge inventory. Yep.
Yes, through the previous cartridge inventory. Okay, inventory one. Okay,
yep.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Now defect list might be okay here. Okay.
So this also we have to create, or is that okay?
Defect list, I think it's fine. The way you have it shall work. Okay.
Okay.
Because those are the validation data only. Those are not transactional data.
Right. Oh yeah, those will not change. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Then my test summary is this test validates the functionality of this. Deepal, can you just go up?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm giving the enter URL for Ledger Server project.
Yeah, so your step number 2 should be login step.
Login, yep.
You missed it.
Okay, login. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, then step 3 will be click on warranty button or warranty module.
So this is where your steps will change, right? For the repeatability.
Yes.
So you will insert the steps to create the warranty item, and then you will pick it up from step 3. Okay. So you select the warranty ID from the lookup.
Yes.
Now I'm assuming somewhere in the data field, you have identified what is the warranty ID.
Yeah, that's the 10-digit alphanumeric.
Yeah. So you have to be specific, right? That selects this particular warranty ID.
Okay,
so,
you mean to select warranty ID of alphanumeric 10-digit number? That's what you are telling?
Yeah. So tell me.
Yes.
Hang on. So when I look at the step 3.
Yes.
Okay. What is the action you're doing it there And when you say expected result, I'm able to select the warranty ID. Is there anything going to be unique that's going to tell you that that one is selected?
When I'm clicking on the lookup field, I'm able to click whatever warranty ID I have created or given.
Okay. And is that gets populated where, right? So you said that from the lookup field, right?
Okay.
So what happens when you
very much specific? Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Right.
I got it. Yes. I'll do that.
Because that's the part is missing, that it should be populated into that field.
So how it will be able to select warranty ID number?
So there are two things, right? So once you select it, well, how do you know that it's selected successfully? Because it gets populated into that warranty ID field.
Yeah. Okay. So one more thing I need to add, it will
And
be
expected
populated.
results, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll change it. Okay, then I'm choosing. I'm selecting the category list.
So help me understand the expected results. It looks like you have put 5 items in there.
Means
so when
these,
because all you're performing, it is just clicking one thing.
Yes.
Is that results into those 5 action items? Because you selected a Hooper problem, but you never selected the defect, right? Or subcategory.
Isn't it like it will automatically be populated when I'm selecting the Hooper problem? Then the associated defects will also be shown on the defect list.
But you are clicking on it, right? Those defects.
So think about it, right? Test steps is actions you're taking it. Expected results are what should become.
Yeah. So
aren't you selecting a category first?
Yes.
Once you select the category, what should happen? It should display all the related defect list, right?
Correct. Yes.
And the next step is you're selecting one of the defect from that category.
Okay.
And then it gets it populated.
Yeah, you are right, Dilip.
Can I jump in here? So Dilip, you mean to say that there are 2 steps from the number 4?
Yes. Number 4, yes.
Yeah, you are taking 2 actions, right? You're not taking only one action.
Yes, you are correct, Dilip. Yeah, I'll change it.
What happens if your first action fails?
Yes, then second will not happen.
Everything will. Yes.
Then how are you going to distinguish clearly what action failed?
Yes, I understand. Just I'm imagining the first one is click on the Hooper problem. So it will show the defects in the defect list. And then the second is click on that Hooper.
Defect 1 or defect 2. Yes.
Okay.
So you know that, right? I mean, Sushi, you have to correct the steps.
I'll correct.
List out individually like 4 or 5.
Yes.
So your steps as a steps.
Yes. I'll do that. Yeah. The color will change. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll do that. Yes.
Okay. Then finally you are clicking on ready to ship. It submits the information. But what is the number 6? Submits information to
I want to verify. So how I'll verify that one means there is another screen. What I am thinking.
Sure.
There I can check like that now the same warranty ID is there with the appropriate customer or vendor, and it is ready to ship.
Okay.
Right. So now the only thing is for expected results of number 5. When you click ready to ship button, right, it submits the information for that particular page into the system. It's great.
Yes.
Are you staying on the same page, or do you automatically be taken to the shipping module page?
To the shipping module. And there are so many.
Are you automatically taken care at that point?
So
no.
The page will clear out.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. There are sequence of actions. Like once you click on the ship, ready to ship button, then the information will be submitted. The page will be submitted. Then the whole screen will be blank. And then
That's what you need to add it as part of the expected results. You're expecting two things to happen. The first thing, that's submitting the information into the system.
Okay.
And second thing is that the page gets cleared.
And the cursor will be pointing onto the warranty ID.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to verify
Okay.
that first before you go and check on
Shipping
the number
module.
6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think, Deepal, you had questions, remember? How to verify the
Yes,
screen is
that's
blank.
what I asked in the initial thing, how to verify it. But Harshal explained it.
Right.
It is, yes, I got that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll change it. I'll
Sure.
just change.
Okay.
And there are two ways to validate, right? One is, it's now shows up on the shipping side. The other way is that it's no longer shows up in the list for you to process.
Yep. Or you can go in the database and check it.
Yeah.
It's marked for ready to ship as well. So
yeah, because
yep.
the reason I'm mentioning it is because I'm looking at your post conditions.
Yeah. I was about to ask. So what will be the post conditions then?
So what do you think the post conditions are? Let's talk through it.
Post condition after ready to ship means the screen should be blank.
Well, is that the post condition? Remember, post condition should be the, what is the state of the system?
The item is not in the, it should be in the ready to ship.
Right. So you should have an entry in the ready to ship module, right? Then item is no longer present now on my list of items to select it for the processing, right?
Yes. Yes. I'll change it. I'll modify it.
Now, when you say it, right? So the cartridge should be shipped to appropriate vendor. Is that actually happens? Or you have to do something else before that happens?
Means there are a couple of things in the
it's
document,
just getting
like the
remember,
ready to ship indicator is set, but I didn't find out anywhere.
Okay. So that's what you need to have a good understanding of what should be the post conditions. Right? What happens it? So what actually happened when you click ready to ship button, it submitted information into the system. Well, how do I know that information is submitted in the system?
I need to verify the
it
indicator.
Goes at item to be shipped, right?
Yes.
So it's not necessary item, because look at your post condition. You already said that the item is already shipped.
Yes.
Versus your expected result is telling is, hey, item is ready to be shipped, but it has not been shipped.
So don't add too many things in the post condition, okay? Basically, stick to what should be the next thing, and or what is changing the system, and that should be it. Other things are not necessarily. You don't need to add everything else. Okay.
Okay, so all these things would be in the step cases, test cases?
Yeah, you already verified those things. The information is cleared, cursor is in the right place, and all those things, that's part of your verification. Those are not the post condition, right? So yeah, you don't need to repeat those things. Yep.
So ready to ship indicator is set or not, that can I put it in the post condition?
Do you know what it means?
That is definitely a post condition, right?
Yeah. So I mean,
but again, you have to be very clear. Ready to ship indicator is set for what?
For
that warranty item that you selected, right?
Right.
Yes.
Not for everything.
No. Yes.
Yeah. So just be specific, and be specific only about the things which is changed in the system, not necessarily what I will be seeing it from a display point of view.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I think you guys are getting the hang, right?
Right.
All you need to do it is tighten up the edges.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So let's do one thing. Let's take a look at what team number 3 has produced. Another team.
Hi, Harshal.
Hi, Swapnali. Go ahead and share your screen. And Swapnali, I'm assuming you guys are working as a team as well, right? And whatever you are going to show, I mean, or review that you guys already discussed as a team.
Yes, we have discussed it, but we did not get a chance to meet this time. So me and Anita just like on a group chat.
Okay.
And Vasu for some reason is not able to join in. So
yeah, Vasu has some other family issue. So I mean, he said that he's not going to be able to join today or this week itself. So yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, as long as you guys reviewed it, you and Anita, I think it should be okay.
Okay. So I just created a test case on this, and I did send you the link to.
Right.
I had
right.
few questions myself, but I'll go with the steps first.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is with the respect of page 22, the same screen, F03 cartridge inventory page.
Okay.
So if you see my text messages, I was asking you whether I'm supposed to do everything on the page till I come to the identical button, or am I supposed to assume? But since it is a test case, I suppose that we are supposed to give some kind of data to check. So I've just written the points. Maybe as Dilip said, I may be missing the data here, specific data, but I'll just go with this. So I'm just saying enter the URL for the laser saver system. Homepage for the laser saver is displayed, then enter username and password for the cartridge admin. So I'm assuming that homepage for the cartridge is like the header footer thing, what we have. And then click on the inventory header and select cartridge inventory from the pop-up menu.
Okay, so you said a cartridge admin for you are logging in as a cartridge admin for this thing. Okay, let's see what else you have first. Okay.
Yeah, remember there is nothing called cartridge admin, right? It's just the admin function.
Okay, I just read it in this functional document where it says that it can edit, view, and select from the functional requirement itself. I don't know specifically the page, but later I can let you know.
I mean, any user who has appropriate permissions, I mean, that's how this system works. They will be able to access the module, cartridge admin module. So it doesn't necessarily has to be admin or anything. So.
Okay. So the inventory page, then click on the from lookup button. The list of customer and vendor is displayed on the touchscreen area.
Okay.
Select the customer from the list. So I was writing this whole steps and I was not sure whether I'm doing it right. So the customer name appears in the text field. Now the customer which I'm selecting from that list, vendor 1, vendor 2, or customer 1, 2, 3, that will appear in the text field. Then once it is, then I click on the shipment lookup field where the list of shipment is populated in the touchscreen area. If it exists, like if that customer is having any shipments, then all those will be populated in the list. That's what I'm assuming. And we will select one of it. So select the shipment from the list. The shipment appears in the text field. Click on the category lookup field. The list of different categories with different specifications are listed. Select the toner gets displayed in the text field. So this is all positive so far what I'm taking. So my 10th point is click on the manufacturer lookup field. The list of manufacturers are displayed. So I'm selecting HP from the populated list. HP gets displayed in the text field. Select the manufacturer identification number from the list populated using the lookup button. The number appears on the text field. This could have been 2, but I just writing those. I made it 1. Select the OEM button. The remanufacturer field gets disabled when you select the OEM button. Weight field appears red with respect to the tolerance range specified. Now I know that I have to give some specific test data here, which is related to the cartridge weight, empty weight, full weight and the percent tolerance. But
Okay.
I had no clue like what am I supposed to give. So I've just said that it is in the tolerance range. So it's in red. And with respect to that, the system defined warranty ID will be auto-generated. And finally, when I come to the identical button, I have said data save E12, E15, E16, E17 are to be cleared and cursor move to E12. Now, this is just a positive case. I'm not sure like what is to be written if one of my fields are missing or I need to add some data.
Well, you need to be specific, right? So you need to pick the specific toner, specific manufacturer, specific cartridge, and everything. It has to be, everything has to be specific.
Okay.
So you need to say, I mean, because I don't see your preconditions here. So I can't really say what you have assumed for preconditions. Did you add that in the steps, preconditions?
No, I did not add it in the tool. I just wanted to mention that the customer, yeah, and all those things already exist, but I did not specify as like, no.
Well, you're gonna have a bunch of preconditions here, like toner, cartridge, all these things that you are selecting. I mean, it's not gonna magically appear in the system. Okay, everything has to exist before you can run this test case. That's the first thing. Obviously, for this is, I'm not looking at your test title. I'm not sure what you are testing. What's your goal of this test case? Okay, so you need to be very clear on what's the goal. You need to specify some appropriate test title as well.
There's a couple of other things that kind of like, it's when you look at the step 15, right? Look at the expected results. You put a E12, E15, E16. Think it from a user's point of view. Are those numbers listed on the screen, or they are the field names? What is E12? What is E15?
Okay, they are the entities, so it's nothing but actually the weight.
Right, I would put those things. I would not put E12, E15.
That's correct. Because somebody else is looking at it, right? They may not have access to the requirements. So
precisely. The other thing, when you say it's data saved, well, what does that mean? How do I know data saved?
Yes.
What indicator tells me that data was saved?
Okay. When I say data save, I just wanted to ask this question. If I'm using Microsoft Azure, where do I go and check the database? Like, where do I run the query, or do I have to just go to the database and check whether this?
Well, what happens when I click identical button? Let's look at that functionality first. What is your understanding? When somebody clicks identical button, what does that mean? Where does data get saved?
Okay, so they are just processing the same kind of cartridge, and it is also from the same customer or vendor. So when they click on the identical button.
So let's say if I'm not using identical button, I'm just using just a normal process button.
Okay.
What happens at that time? What is your expected results? How are you going to know data is saved properly?
Okay, so if I have to just think about the process on the identical button,
what is the upstream? So this is where you need to think about what is upstream and downstream steps are. What are the processes?
Okay, upstream, every data, whatever we entered on this form, it has to be reflected in the database. And if
but if you don't have access to database and you have access only to the system, how are you going to validate that?
Okay, then I have to give a message to the user that the data has been saved to the database.
Wait, no.
No.
This is all process, right?
Okay.
So what comes after this particular process? See, this is where like I think Herschel was pointing it out. When you just write it like it's identical data button is saved, what functionality, what screen you are, there is no clarity.
What screen? I'm going to be on the same screen.
Which screen? Is it the warranty processing functionality? Is this the inventory functionality? Is it shipping functionality? What functionality is this?
It's the cartridge inventory page.
So it is an inventory, right?
Yes.
So what is the functionality that comes after inventory?
The functionality after inventory will be the warranty ID is generated. So we have to go for the warranty process field.
Yeah, so if you say data is saved, and if there is a warranty ID is generated, can I go into warranty module and look for it, which one is generated?
Oh, yes, I can do that. Yes.
So isn't that the data? So just by saying expected result as data is saved is not sufficient.
Okay.
You have to tell a step. How do I know that it's saved?
Okay. So I'm just going to go and check for the warranty ID generated list.
Yeah, and make sure that the things that you generated is there.
Okay.
It shows up on that next screen or next module. Yep.
Okay.
See, that's part, like it's, I think it's one of the things I want you guys to think about it is understand end-to-end flow of what is happening in the system. So when you perform a certain action and you're trying to test that, you need to know what is the impact in the system and where can you go and validate that does that happen or not. Because you may not always have access to the database. Are you with me, Swapnali?
Yes.
Okay. So think it from that point of view, right?
Okay. And one more thing I wanted to ask, the other day when Harsha was explaining, he said whenever the form is like when it's loaded, we have to check that all the fields are blank. So how do we do that? Like it's instead of checking for each and every field, you can just club all the fields together and check whether they are blank.
Yeah, this is a step, right? Validate that the form is empty. Expected results, there is no data in any of the fields.
Okay. We wrote a separate test case for validating all the fields. The default value should be blank.
So, I mean, when you click on receiving, right, that's what you are saying, Nilima.
Yeah,
same
that's
thing
where,
with the Swapnali. I mean, first time when you go to the page, everything has to be blank. Or if you say process, maybe different, right? It needs to clear out the screen and make sure it clear out the screen and it's blank screen is displayed. So I mean, yeah, you could have one test case written down for those type of things as well. Yeah, certainly. Okay. So Swapnali, do you understand what you need to update here?
Yes.
You need to be specific, right? I mean, all these cartridges, plus you need to add the preconditions in the test case. And here in the tool, you can add the steps right at the beginning, like step 1, 2, and 3, whatever preconditions you have, you can just add it right there. You can insert the steps, basically. That's what I mean. And title, I'm still not sure because you need to make sure the title says you are validating the identical button functionality by generating a warranty and entering appropriate fields, basically data in the. I think the title needs to be a little bit more clear because right now.
Okay, I'll do that. Validating.
With the warranty ID, I think that's what you are doing, because you could have identical button without the warranty ID as well, right? So you can say no warranty generate ID generated, but you can still have identical button functionality.
Okay.
Yep.
And what if most probably the form says that we are selecting, so nothing can be missing, but what if the field is missing? How do we check that?
Field is missing or data, you did not enter data in the field, one of the field.
Yeah, this is mostly, it's taking from the database. So I don't think so the user is going to enter. So
no, what do you mean from database here?
No, that means it's going to populate all the things with respect to the database. So somewhere we are going to have the manufacturer data. So
yeah,
we
but
have,
what if you miss selecting the manufacturer and you try to click on identical button?
yeah, that,
That
oh,
should trigger error message, right? But
oh,
that's a separate test case. So you need to have the other test case without some required fields being selected and press on the identical button. See what happens at that point. So that would be a negative test case
negative,
for
yeah.
identical,
Okay, without selected.
triggering the error conditions in there.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, as I said, I mean, at this particular screen, I mean, the cartridge inventory, you could easily have 50 plus test cases right there
Yes.
for the screen.
Yes, that's true.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to review from or need any other clarification here? I think you guys have only one or two written down. I like you guys write more, because one or two not gonna, I mean, help you understand the functionality as well. So I mean, write at least 5. I mean, individually, and review as a team. I mean, this is a team exercise. So I think that's gonna help you guys more.
Harshal, I have a question.
Sure.
It is not related to 6.10 though.
Okay.
It is about a 6.11, which is a warranty shipping list. So while we were doing this warranty information page F04, we thought, let me just share my screen so easily you can. Are you able to see the?
Yes, they will.
Yes, this is the one. So
Right.
once we do ready to ship button in a F04, it sets the indicator and tell the system this shipment is this cartridge warranty is ready to ship.
That's
so
correct.
for this one, all the shipping list here we are seeing, aren't they exactly the same list for the cartridges? Those are ready to ship.
No, the list here. So let's say your system is empty, you are entering the first cartridge in the system, and you go through the warranty creation process, warranty cartridge inventory process, warranty shipping process, and mark it as ready to ship. When you come to this screen will be empty. There is nothing there. Okay, because you have not really created a shipping list yet. So what it says is a warranty shipping list. So you have a new button. So that's where you will click on it, and it will take you to the warranty shipping. Where are you shipping? And you will fill out all of the details like RA number, tracking number, and all those things. And you save the information, and then it will end up here. You will come back on the screen with the item being in the list at the bottom.
Okay, I got that. Initially, I thought this exactly the same way, but here in the description displays a list of warranty shipments that have not been completed in the system. So that's why we got confused between
No,
that
I
ready to
understand.
ship and this one.
Right.
Yes.
Understand.
Okay.
So, but that's the process you will follow.
Yes, that process we discussed, like we need to enter all the details for the shipping and vendor and all that. Yes, thank you.
So let me ask you guys one thing. How many test cases you guys wrote it as a individually as well as team?
Are you asking online team?
Yeah, to all the teams,
Okay.
all 3 different teams, right?
Okay, so we wrote down, let me tell you for that particular screen.
You can
5
go
to
to that.
6. Yes, 5 to 6 different cases.
Okay.
The functionality wise.
Functionality wise, okay.
Yes.
That's good. That's
So
good.
we did ready to ship. We did a process as a core. We did parts recovery. We did warranty ID lookup field. We did cancel, and we did also that notes text area.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Text area. Okay. Gotcha. So I think that those test cases, now you guys wrote it and put it on your site, right? Somewhere.
Yes, it is there in that shared one.
Yes.
shared
So
site.
you have that QA folder from our team.
Yep.
We
saw
do
that.
all the work and
Okay.
put our documents in there. But I want to just be upfront here. That folder is filled with all the old one also and the new one also.
Yes.
Can you guys create a folder, and as you guys finish it, right, as a team, review it and mark it as complete? If you can dump it in this one folder there, where I can review it, that would be great.
Yes,
If
we
you guys
can
wanna do that.
definitely do it. Yes.
Okay, like
Yeah,
a
I
complete
think,
or
yeah.
final folder, final
Before,
or some
before
something.
Sunday, I think we can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and we can
I
we can finish that test case for the category and subcategory too, because now it is a very pretty much
Clear,
clear.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can do
you
that.
guys can flush those things out, right? I mean, and based on the what we discussed here today, you can review other ones, what you guys wrote, and flush that out as well. Okay.
Yes, we can update with the steps also.
Yeah, I think Namita, you had a question.
No, I said I'll make corrections, because some of my test cases, like Dilip was saying, is it repeatable? I forgot that part. And for precondition, I put in something, and then I'm thinking, it was like, duh, why didn't I think about it?
Right.
So I have to make corrections and then.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So I think that's the whole goal right here, right? To correct it, make sure you guys understand the process here, and when to put the precondition and when not to put the preconditions, and so forth. I think that will help you guys a lot. So I'm hoping other teams has something similar, at least 5 to 6 test cases, or work in progress, those type of things.
Can we still continue in Azure, or do we have to make those test case template kind of thing?
No, I mean, as long as you review, you are able to review with your team members, I think it should be fine, basically. Okay, so you can send the links to the. It's important to get the feedback from the team members first, because they are on the same team, project team, and this is what you're gonna be encountering in the day-to-day life. So. So you, Anita, and Basu, if whenever he's available, just make sure you guys coordinate and review as a team. How about Dhanasri and Nilima and other folks?
We have 3 collectively, but since we don't have much of the test cases, our requirement is a smaller one. We wanted to make sure those 3 we are going in a right track. And then from tomorrow, we are going to write rest of them and do it in the Azure DevOps.
Yeah, you can do that, right? And make sure you focus on the other business functionality one, right? The process, I think another and so forth, done and cancel and so forth. Make sure you guys get that, knock those things out before Sunday. So you got tomorrow and Saturday. So, yep. Okay.
I have a question. It is totally unrelated. Whenever I come up with I'm writing a case, the only problem I'm struggling is I cannot think of a negative scenario. I don't know why. Is my mind cannot, that switch is not going on for a negative scenario. All I come up with is a positive one. And it is not going to work. We need a negative scenario also, right?
You don't need to have a negative scenario, but yes, I mean, the goal is to find the defect, right? And the more you try to break the system, and breaking a system, that's where your negative scenarios comes in the picture. It comes with the practice and some experience as well. So as you work through more test cases, review more test cases, like what other folks are doing and how they are doing it. I think it will develop that thought process for you.
Yeah, and what I would suggest is first focus on writing all the positive test cases.
Right.
And then think about it. If any one of those fails, does it cover all the different negative scenarios that is required to prove that that particular requirement is fulfilling in the system? And if it's not sufficient, then only you think about negative test cases.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
I would always lean it to start with the positive first to prove the system works, and then do the negative to prove the system doesn't break.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So I think we are almost about at the time. So what we'll do is we'll regroup on Sunday morning, and we'll clarify certain things for you, maybe spend an hour, not more than that, on Sunday, and then we'll have a wrap-up session at the end. And that doesn't mean that you can't work on the project as a team, and we're not going to be able to review. But we will continue. If you continue working on the project or after Sunday, feel free to do so, and we will certainly review. Okay. So it's not like an end of the world or an end of the project or anything after Sunday. But we like to cover certain other topic on Sunday as well. So that's what we'll do after 1 hour, initial 1 hour. Okay, so let's touch base at 9 o'clock. I think those who can come to the office, wants to come to the office, feel free to do so. And other folks will be online. So we'll work through the similar process on Sunday.
Herschel, can I request you something here?
Yes.
Before Sunday, if it is possible, can you send us the steps how to create the Azure and Jira? So once we are done,
Azure is straightforward, right? I think you already have a video in there, so I owe you guys Jira steps. That's
okay.
for sure. So
We will
definitely
figure
I'll
out
put
the
it.
Azure one. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's already in the part of the recording as well. What we
Yes.
went through for project creation. So, yep, you can refer to that link. But Jira, definitely I'll put together something for you guys.
Yes. So we can, once we are done in this QA folder, we can start writing the cases
That's
in
correct.
the
That's
Azure.
correct.
Thank you.
Yep. I think your Azure project will still work. I don't think there is a limit of expiry. So as long as you have Azure project account, just create a new project, maybe laser saver, and start creating the requirement and test case. Yep.
Okay. Definitely, I will try
you
that.
can use the same Rflown one. I mean, it's fine. I mean, you can just add a new requirement for laser saver right in there, and create your test cases. Yep, and work through that.
Okay.
But only Jira has expiry time. So yep.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Okay, then I think we'll see you guys on Sunday at 9 o'clock, 8:45 at the office. Okay. And I think it's a 2 hour or maybe two to 2.5 hour session, depending on our second part. So, yep. So we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good
Good
evening.
night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
All right.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.